All right. So, hi, I'm Giselle Aguiar. I've been doing internet marketing since 1995. Yes, since before the internet was a household word. My company's AZ Social Media Wiz, and I help business owners like you get started online as well as coach you to help you succeed. And if you want to attract new customers, you can't ignore your online marketing. So this will be helpful if you are new, starting from scratch, or completely wanting to revamp your website. Okay, so first question, why do I need a website? I remember somebody asked me once, could my Facebook business page serve as my website? Well, I mean, technically it could, but it wouldn't be very efficient or effective. So my answer is basically no. Your website is yours. Social media profiles should be your backup in case your site goes down. I had a client once whose registration page wasn't working. The plugin wasn't working right. So people went over to the Facebook page and messaged him over there. So it means you got to pay attention to what's going on your social media pages. And also you have zero control on what happens on Facebook and the other social networks. They change rules and features constantly. So why do you need a website? Well, first, it's credibility and trustworthiness. Okay, if you're a new business, you want to. It takes time to build that credibility. Okay, and you don't want to be thought of as a fly-by-night entity. And before someone makes contact with a human, they will check out your website. And also your first impression. Okay, your website is your branding. It's the key of your the center, the core of your online presence, your online image. Okay, and those of you just coming in, if you please stay muted until the end of the presentation, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, it's also your #1 sales tool. Okay, it's your online brochure. So it tells about your business, and you have way more space on your website than you ever get on any of the social network profiles. You also have what's called social proof and then transparency. Okay, transparency is really important in these days. There's so many fake things out there. Which goes with the credibility and trustworthiness. So who's behind the business? So you want your about page to say, the story of your business, why you started it, who's behind it, and so forth. And then expertise and authority. Okay, you become known as an expert in your field. By what you blog about on your website, everything and everything you talk about. The more you do that and then share it on the social networks, the more people start getting to know you as an expert in your field. And most importantly, Google wants to find you, okay? Because Google wants to provide the searcher with the freshest content that's most relevant to what they're searching for. And then you own it, you control it. Okay, I mean, I've been dealing with Facebook since basically it began. They've changed the business pages so often. And, I started out wanting to do, online videos of how to set up Facebook pages and things like that. I had to stop doing that because as soon as I recorded a video, boom, they would change something. Then I would have to go in and change all the screenshots. And I says, this isn't going to work. So and that's the problem with all this stuff. It's constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. And this is a great quote. If you're going to build something, don't build it on land somebody else already owns. You want your own land, your own domain, your own sovereignty. That's Joe Batali from Wired magazine. And on the social media platforms, you are basically renting the space. They own it, they change the rules, and they can shut you down. I mean, if you say and post one thing that they don't like, and you don't know what it is that they don't like, that's the problem. They can shut you down. And, I've gotten, so many things that goes, I'm in Facebook jail. And I'm like, what did you post? And you were just posting an opinion. It was related to your business. You were posting the truth, but to them, it was not. To them, it was misinformation. Unfortunately, that happens now. But that's the thing. So that's one of the reasons you want your own website. Okay, so Here are 4 things you need to think about when you're planning your website. So first of all, what's your purpose? Okay, why are you in business? Why are you doing what you're doing? What do you want the visitor to do when they land? We'll get into this in a lot of detail. So how are you going to draw them there? Okay, it's not like if you build it, they won't come. No, it doesn't work that way. What type of content will be of interest to your target? Okay, so that's really what's really important. Okay, so who's your target? Okay, so before you start doing anything, you have to clearly define your target market niche, and you can have more than one target audience. Okay, B2B is business to business. So your main targets are other businesses, but you still have to deal with people in the business. So who is the decision maker in the company? That person becomes your consumer. What's their size, location, goals, objective? What's their main service or product? And most important, what's their problem or pain point that you're going to solve? How are you going to make their lives easier, more productive, or successful? So as for social media, you want to reach them on LinkedIn and Twitter with Facebook as your secondary network, unless you want to do targeted paid ads. And that's a whole other webinar. In fact, next week on the 20th, I'm doing Social Media Marketing 101, which goes in depth into the main social networks and how their algorithms work. That's the big mystery of all this stuff. I can't understand their algorithms. It's crazy, and they're constantly changing them, so it's crazy. B2C, business to consumer. So your main customer is the average consumer who would buy your products or hire your services. You could have more than one persona. So what are their interests, desires, wants, and needs? What are their pain points? Again, so reach them on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. And you should have a presence on LinkedIn for credibility. And a company can have both B2B and B2C targets. So consider what percentage is business and consumer so you can split your marketing efforts accordingly. Also consider what part of your business you want to boost. Okay. So who is your perfect customer? If they walked in the door right now, what would they look like? Married, single, age, not an age bracket, just a persona, a person. So imagine a character, male or female, income, kids, educated, etc. Most importantly, what are their pain points that your product or service is going to alleviate? So what problems are you going to solve? Now, I'll be sending you, along with the video, my free Define Your Target Market workbook. And you'll get the PDF of these slides too. So this will guide you into asking questions, asking yourself who your target is. Then you want to do some research. So once you've defined your target, you want to learn as much as you can about them. What are their pain points? What are their problems that you're going to solve? Which social networks do they frequent the most? Okay, what devices do they prefer? Usually between mobile and desktop, I usually divide it at about age 45. If you want to reach older people, then that's going to be on a desktop. If you want to reach under 45, younger people, then you're going to want to make sure everything is mobile, everything. Everything is good it looks good on a mobile device, on a phone or a tablet. Okay, what are their buying habits? Okay, and you also want to look at your industry's economic outlook. Okay, we were talking earlier, I forgot who it was now. Somebody said they're in the travel industry, I think Bach. That industry, I used to work in the travel industry. I worked in hotels and on cruise ships, and I mean, COVID just almost killed it. Unfortunately, people like to travel, so now we've got here in the United States, gas prices are going through the roof, so people aren't traveling as much. There are no more road trips, but still people want to travel. I have a friend that went up to Utah with his family. So it's like, okay. So some people, the gas prices don't bother them. So they have enough leisure income to spend. And then demographic and local information. So if you're local brick and mortar, or if you then you need to consider your local information and demographics. Okay, so and I'm going to have a link on in the PDF to an article I did of where you can find this data. Most of this data is available for free online. You just Google the question, Google the industry and economic outlook, and you'll get that information in there. Most of them are for free. Some you can pay to get, if you want to get go more in depth on the reporting. Then you need to set some SMART goals. So a SMART goal is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So an example of a SMART goal is getting 100 Instagram followers in 30 days or 100 Twitter followers. Another goal would be getting 5 new clients in 1 month. So determine a monthly income goal for the business. So how many new clients do you need to close or or sales to get to achieve that goal? And you want to set the goals each month and adjust the goals for the next month based on your analytics. And I'll get into that too. Then you have strategic planning. Okay, so you have your goals and you have your target defined. So now you need a strategic plan to accomplish the goals. Okay, and then your tactical planning. So tactics are what you're going to use to implement the strategy. For instance, so you decide you're going to do videos to showcase your products or your service or whatever it is. Okay, so then how often are you going to do the videos, and what's needed for you to be able to record those videos and edit those videos? Okay, so that's all part of the planning process. Not every business needs to be on every social network. Focus more time on the networks and efforts that you determine by research and getting to know your target. Spend more time on the ones that are driving traffic to your website and where you're building valuable relationships. Okay, so back to the website. So you want to take into consideration the user experience. So you want to also understand the different ways a visitor can enter your website, just as if they were entering a physical location. So the home page is the front door. So usually people come here from either a listing where you're listed somewhere or the search engine. Okay, and and your main page comes up first. Your home page comes up first, or they can come in from a blog article, from social media again, or the search engine. So if you wrote a blog article answering a question and somebody enters that question in the search engine, your article is going to come up. Okay, and so that's kind of coming in the side door. So you want to make sure that your blog page has all the calls to action, whatever it is you want them to do, because they can be coming in that way. Then you've got another side door called the landing page. And I'll get into more details of what the landing page is. So this is a specific page for a specific ad or offer or promotion, and that's all that's on that page. So if you want people to download a free ebook or get 10% off or 20%, whatever it is, off their first order, whatever the freebie is that you want to give them, watch a free webinar or whatever, so that's the only thing that's on this page. It's a landing page. It's a sales page. One thing you got to keep in mind, you have 7 seconds to catch a visitor's attention and keep it. A goldfish has the attention span of 8 seconds. So if your website and social media profiles don't tell a visitor what you do in 7 seconds, you've lost them. All right. You need to think like the user. Okay. Build your website for the human reader with the search engine in mind. That's the key to what's called SEO copywriting. Okay, your homepage. So you have the user interface. Okay, so this is the UI, the user interface. Then you have the user experience. Okay, which this is everything somebody needs to navigate your website, get to your products, find a blog article to answer their question. So they're two different terms, kind of two different things. User interface is your navigation, it's your calls to action, okay, your articles, your graphics, and then the experience is what they experience whichever way they enter your website. Okay, so you want to make sure it's easy to navigate and it's easy on the eyes. I'll never forget this guy when they had it was way back before we had WordPress and all this stuff. And so they had their website, and it was an industrial business. So they, wasn't, but they did their blog with a lime green background. It was, the color was in their logo, but you can't stare at this picture and read an article. You can't stare at this page and read an article because it literally hurt your eyes. All right, and that's not, you want people to stay on your website and read articles. A lot of times people do the black background with white text. That's called reverse, and that's also hard to read. And you also want to think of your audience. If you're looking at somebody over 40, okay, reading becomes an issue. So larger typeface is important there. Then you want internal links. So this is part of your navigation. So you're going to have your blog articles. As you write more blog articles, you're going to have certain topics that you write about a lot and keywords that you use or tags. Okay, so you want to put an internal search in there. So you want to interlink blog articles. So you're writing a blog article about a topic, and then you start talking about something that you wrote an article a few weeks ago. So you want to link that phrase or that sentence or that keyword to that article that is already published, so you already wrote. So that helps with search engine optimization, also helps keep people on your website. Good branding. Okay, so branding comes up. In fact, I'm going to be doing a branding beyond the logo is coming on November 17th. It's already up, so you can register for that one. So I'm going to talk about everything, the logo, but everything that you do online, it becomes part of your branding. You want to entice the visitor to do something. So you have your call to action, the CTA. This is part of lead generation. Okay, so you want to convert the visitor into a lead or a sale. Okay, depending on what your objective is. You want them to read or learn more about about why they're on your website. You want them to follow you on social media. So you want to make sure your social media links go to the right place. I clicked on somebody's Twitter account, it didn't go anywhere. Twitter icon at the bottom of their website didn't go anywhere. Or it went to a Twitter account that nobody was created like in 2013 and nobody's posted since then. That looks bad. That hurts your online image. Don't make people think and don't make people work for what you want them to do. Okay, it's all about the user. Okay, it's all about the user. So this is a typical customer buying journey. You might see this also as a cone or a buying a customer funnel or conversion funnel, or different ways to do this. So basically, you've got people that just discovered you. Okay, they may have seen a post on social media, they were recommended by a friend, so then they go and they see that that you have what they want, and they'll do it. Okay, so that you might have an impulse shopper there. So some people go through their buying journey faster than others. And I'm usually not an impulse buyer, but I did it once and then I regretted it because the item wasn't what I expected once I got it. And it was like, it was so inexpensive that I didn't want to bother giving it back. But that's a problem. You gotta be, but anyway, that's on the shopper side. But you want to make sure, for then you get the explorers who want to read blog articles. They want to check out your social media. They're going to read reviews. They're going to Google you. Okay. And then finally, you have those who engage by asking questions. Okay. So, so you want to get them, and you want to create content on your website for each of the stages there. Okay, so you want to do awareness stage, you want to educate your potential buyer. Consideration, they still need a little bit more education. They need a little bit more enticement in there, convincing that you've got what they need. Okay. Then we've got other website considerations. Okay, so it's not just let's throw up a website. No. Okay, so you need to register a domain name. So the domain name is the kind of your street address. You want to register it for at least 2 years. Then hosting. So this is the plot of land. So you either rent or build your own, right? Your website platform is the foundation. I'll get into more details on these things. Then you've got your content. So this is your store of your e-commerce, your products and or services, or a magazine or your blog, okay? Your content, what you're putting on your website. You want to be mobile first. Remember, I mentioned that Google likes, even though your target market might be older than 45 and more using desktop, Google is still mobile first. So they'll judge your optimization by how fast your page loads. And in the PDF that I'm going to be sending you there, I have a link to the page speed test. So we could test your, it'll test your website, how fast it loads on a mobile device. Okay. And you might think, oh, it loads quickly. No, what you think is 5 seconds, you need 2.5 seconds. You need half that time. Okay. And it doesn't make sense to the human mind, but then that's Google. Okay. So, and then remember, you only have 7 seconds to catch someone's attention. So if a potential customer is waiting, 10 seconds for your website to load, you lost them. Then Google Analytics. Okay. So you have to have that set up. It's free to set it up, analytics.google.com. And then you need to add that somehow to your website. We'll get into that later. Then you got to think about security. Okay, I've been hacked. Back in 2014, I was hacked twice, and it was not fun. Okay, so one of the things you need these days is the SSL certificate, HTTPS. This is at the hosting level. Okay. Then backups, okay, which is one thing I did not have when I was hacked. So it was not, I didn't have my site backed up so that I could just uploading it again. Nope, I had to kind of rebuild it from scratch twice. Then you have you need a firewall to block hackers, okay? And there will always be hackers. And they said, well, I'm a really small, business. Why would they want to have? Because they can. Okay, and the hackers can get in there. One of a former client of mine, she was a retired school teacher who had a children's book. Okay, and she used PayPal. Well, she had a WordPress website, and somebody told, and whoever said it said, "Oh, don't worry about the updates. Don't worry about those. Don't worry about those. You're not worried about those." Okay, so those updates are, which is the next thing. Those updates are regular security updates, bug fixes, adding features or something. So they all have to be updated when they come up. All right. And the problem was just she wasn't updating them. So what happened is hackers send out robots out into the internet, and they look for like the cracked open window in a house that a thief's going to find to be able to get in. Well, not doing these updates left the back door basically open to this gal's website. And she had some malware installed in there. So every time somebody purchased one of her kids' books, it went to their PayPal account and not her PayPal account. All right. So there you know the importance of having a firewall and having updates. And somebody else is coming in. All right. Next step is hosting. All right. So so you need to consider, okay, so your e-commerce. So you can be in a like a pre-built mall like Shopify or Etsy. And this is a good place to start. If you're just starting out, you want an online store. I actually prefer Shopify. I think they're one of the best ones out there. They have SEO built in. So if you have to start for e-commerce, start with Shopify. Then you have self-hosted like WordPress. WordPress has a plugin called WooCommerce, which is the best for SEO. So at some point you may outgrow Shopify. And so then you want it all on your own. So it's like basically, so when you go to a mall, like all the stores, all the signs look the same, but you have to follow the mall's rules. Okay, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. But if you're on a self-hosted one, you can do whatever you want to, because it's your website, you own it, and nobody can tell you what you can and can't put on it. Okay, so if you're a regular business, okay, there are easy site builders like GoDaddy, Weebly, or Wix. Okay, and then there's free websites if you're on a budget crunch, on Google Business Profile Manager, and there's Microsoft free websites also. The problem with these, though, is they're very limited. But if you're just starting out and you don't have the budget to hire somebody to do it, this is a great place to just start out. But figure you're going to outgrow this in 3 to 6 months. If you're doing your marketing right, and you're gonna want to do other stuff on your website, that they're going to start charging you for extra things. Oh, that's another $35 a month. Or, oh, that's another $7 a month. But by the time you go through all that, it's going to be less expensive to just go to a self-hosted WordPress website. And again, it's best for SEO because of the structure of these free websites or these easy site builders. Just because of their structures, they hinder search engine optimization. They hinder the platform, these your do-it-yourself website builders. So you're sacrificing getting found for ease of use and saving money. So again, depending on your budget and where you are in your business and what you're needing to do is how you make this decision. I'll get into more details as we continue going. In fact, next. All right. So which one should you use? Well, again, it depends on your budget. Keep in mind, again, they're very limited in what you can do. But it will get you going, and they have all the bases covered. Okay, so one of the freebie websites, everything's in there. Everything's built in, the security, the backups, all that's built into their structure. Okay, but you're limited to branding and customization. SEO, sometimes it's a paid add-on. Oh, you want that plugin? Okay, you need to pay extra for it. So like the free WordPress website, which is WordPress.com, and you want to start adding plugins, that's more money. So, and then you're still limited to their structure. You're in their mall, so you need to be in, within them, but you can go to your self-hosted and you can do whatever you want. And so that's your then you've got your functionality, your widgets, your integrations and add-ons. Okay, so you want to have that plugin? Well, that's going to cost you another $10 a month. And they nickel and dime you to death, and you want to be careful with that. So ideally, a hosted or managed WordPress website, here you own everything. So it's 100% customizable. There's lots of free themes or templates to choose from. There's lots of free plugins and integrations for functionality, including SEO. There's tons of them. Depending on what you want to do, there's a plugin for that. And when choosing a web host, look at their tech support and customer service reviews. Okay, now I host with Lightning Base. It's fast, it's just WordPress, and they have great customer service and tech support. So I've been with them for several years now, and I just added another website to my plan. Now, but I understand. I started out bootstrapping everything, with no money, so I had to do everything myself. So if you are strapped for cash, so the best free one is the free Google Business Profile. So you're going to go into business.google.com, and I have the link in the PDF. And all the way in the bottom, you see website. And so you can build your website there. This is also good. I mean, I actually suggested this for a client of mine. We're working on their new website because they ignore their website for 7 years, and it's totally not working for them at all. But they wanted to promote one particular part of their business. And so I said, well, let's do a landing page on Google. It's free. It's on Google, so they're going to see it. Okay. And you can put your call to action and then send them wherever you need them to go, or have whatever they want to do on there. So you can use this free website also for a landing page within Google if you want to, just boost it up and get it going. Okay, best free option number 2 is the free WordPress that I mentioned, which is wordpress.com. Okay, and you can start for free. I think it's $64 a year if you want to add your domain name to you, okay, to it. Now, again, the hosted WordPress is still way less expensive than that. All right, so let's go into some other things. But also one of the things, if you're going to start on the free, okay, now without your domain name, it's going to say, you know, mybusiness.wordpress.com. So if you're going to start there for free, I had somebody do that. They were moving from Arizona to California. He was starting a business in California, but he wanted to start blogging and start getting his name out there as an expert in his field. So we got him started on the free WordPress. He didn't have a business name yet. He didn't have a domain name, but we just wanted him to be known as an expert in his field for when he started. So we started a blog on the free WordPress.com, and it's easy to export your content to a hosted WordPress site when you need to. And it's not so in other platforms. Like if you're on Wix and you want to move over to WordPress, you literally have to copy paste everything from your Wix website and re-upload your graphics. Okay, so building your site. Now this is on the back end of your site, in the back end. So you must have backups. Okay, I've had to rebuild my site twice in 2014, and the second time I said no, I need help. I don't have time to do this, you know. So I hired somebody to do it to help me with it. Okay, and again, security. So it's not if, but when you get hacked. And then updates. So they fix security issues and they add, you know, bug fixes and also functionality. They add new features or whatever. Then you have your theme. So these are layout templates, okay? Then you've got plugins and widgets which add functionality, okay? So you want to have WooCommerce is the e-commerce plugin for WordPress. And it's all built in. Your checkout, all you need is your Stripe account or your Square account or something to use as a payment gateway, but everything is all built in. Everything's in there already. Email program. So you want to grow your email list. So there's a plugin for that too. And then you want your conversions. Okay, so sales, so you have to have that payment processing. Your shopping cart is e-commerce, again, that's built into WooCommerce. Email marketing, automation. Okay, and so this is when you get somebody to come in and download your free ebook, and so you want to put them in an email marketing drip campaign. Okay, so that's one of the things you want to make sure it's in there. Not everybody is ready to buy right away. And then, of course, you want Google, you want your analytics in there you want to be able to track where people are coming from, what they're doing on your website, how long they're staying on your website, you know, just to know what how your marketing efforts are doing. Okay. Now, okay, so building your site, we're now in the front end. Okay, so your home page, you have your title. This is your title tag, which is the name of the company, location if you're a brick and mortar, and then keyword. I always use keyword centric, means your major keyword is in your title somehow. So I remember talking to an accountant in Yuma, Arizona, and he had his business name was his name, which is fine, except if someone's looking for an accountant in Yuma, they don't know his name. All right, and so we found a domain name which yumaaccounting.com was available. So I'm like, hey, you gotta grab that one and just point it to your current domain name, and that will work, you know. But that helps because that's the you know. And then the title page is, you know, Mr. So and so, Yuma accountant in Yuma, Arizona, right? So so that was important to be in the title page. That is the first thing that a search engine sees when it's crawling your site, because they're crawling from the top down. They're looking for links, they're looking for keywords and text. Okay, so that's the first thing that they see is the title page. And don't say home. Okay, home is too generic. All right, just put the name of the company, the name of your business, what it is, your keywords in there. And if you're local brick and mortar, you want to put your location in there. All right, so then you've got your pages. So you want about the company. This is what I mentioned before about the transparency and the trust and credibility factor. Your services or products, your blog. Okay, this is how you're going to educate your potential customers that you're an expert on your products or services, why they should buy it, things like that. And then, of course, contact us. So how do you want to be contacted? Okay, they want people to call you. You want people to fill out a form. What is it that you want them to do? Then whatever that call to action is, download a free ebook, 10% off your first order, free shipping on your first order, whatever it is, you want whatever that is, you want that call to action everywhere, at the end of every blog article, at the bottom of every page, on the top of the page, in the sidebar, if you have your blog. So you want to have that call to action everywhere. Then you also want an internal search function. This is going to help people that are looking for more information. Okay, so they're going to see, okay, what other articles are there on this topic? And they might search. Okay, if you also have your e-commerce site, especially like in health and wellness. Okay, people are usually searching for help with a symptom. So you want to make sure that you write blog articles on all of the symptoms and how to alleviate them. Okay, and then the products or whatever that's going to help them alleviate it. All right, then everything has to be of good quality. Okay, Google looks for good quality, helpful content. Okay, so you want it written correctly, in English. Oh, that was what I was doing. So, okay, so you foreign people out there who have people from other languages, I suggest you add, especially, and you can do this easily on WordPress. I don't know what other, add the Google Translate. It's a free plugin on WordPress. And I added it to one of my other websites because that one is already, it's been international. It's a personal project of mine, just to make it easy for people to read it in their own language. Okay, and that's just it. Okay, I'm bilingual Spanish, but English is my first language. I try to start reading Spanish and I get a headache. So I prefer to read everything in English. So I will translate a page before I even attempt to try and read it in Spanish. So you want to make it easy for international people to read your website in their own language. All right. Now, page structure for SEO. Now, I mentioned the title tag, and you have like it has to be under 60 characters, otherwise it gets cut off. Okay, and again, home is not the name of your business. Then you have the H1 heading. So this should only be the title of the page. So on the blog, this is the blog title. On the page, it's, whatever it is, like services at your business and whatever that service is, and then whatever that service does. Okay, don't put welcome. Okay, that was way back in 1995 when we started. Everybody's like, welcome to my website, because it was a new thing. Not anymore. Okay, that's passe. Then you have your subheading. So H2, H3, H4. As the number gets higher, the text gets smaller. So you want to put your major keywords in headings and subheadings. And this also helps break out people don't like to read long paragraphs, so it helps break up your page. I looked at an article today, which I was interested in the title, and I'm looking at it and it's in long paragraph after long paragraph. And I'm like, I can't read this, so that's just under formatting. Okay, so you want it to be, that goes back to the easy on the eyes thing. Put the question you are answering in an H2 tag. Okay, so that tells the search engine. All the subheadings basically tell the search engine this phrase is important. Then you've got bullets again, so it's easy for the human to read, because human tends to skim down the page and look for certain words that that jump out at them. Okay, and so that's where you put the bullets in there. Then your text content is written for the human reader, but keyword centric. Okay, so using the Google keyword tool or there's several other keyword tools out there. You want to determine which are the most searched for keywords that your potential client is putting into the search engine box for you to come up. And so You want to guide the visitor to convert. You want to match the title and the headline. Okay, so if you're right, your title says something, that's what the article is about. Okay, no click, it's called clickbait. You know, you write about something that's a catchy title, and then your article is totally about something else. Then your meta tags. Again, this is very important. Okay, so this is 1 or 2 sentences describing the page. And this is what comes up in search. So when you look at a Google search results page, or SERP search results page, you see the title of the page, you see the link to the page, and you see a little paragraph. It's 1 or 2 sentences that tells you what's on that page. If there is no meta tag, Google will go find the first paragraph, whatever is on the first paragraph of text. So the meta tag is also, it is for the search engine, but it's for the human searcher. When they read it, will decide if your page has what they're looking for. Okay, and I did an SEO webinar a few weeks ago, and I'll add that webinar video to the email when I sent it out later today. So it'll be on it. It's one of my most popular ones in there, but it goes more deeply into SEO. And then your graphics. So all the pictures that you add to your website need to have the descriptions in the alt text box. It's the back end, because technically now the Google's algorithm is changing. So now they can actually find similar pictures. But when it comes for SEO, it's looking for the text behind it. So that's going to help you in there. So one of the problems that a lot of websites have is you have bad SEO copy. Okay, so it's not just copywriting, but it's SEO copywriting. So bad SEO copy may result in low rankings on Google. Okay, getting impressions on the SERP, the search engine result page, but no clicks. So you have a low click-through rate. So one thing is coming up in the search engine, the other thing is getting people to click on it. Okay, so that's the trick of copywriting online. I'm thinking my copywriter that's in Chicago up there, Leanne. Okay, so this is the trick to this. And then, or people visit your site and don't do anything. So they're not converting into a lead or a sale. Okay, so SEO copywriting. So you want to get your website high enough on the Google search engine page, the SERP, above your competition. Okay, you want to entice the searcher, your potential customer, to click on the listing. And then on your website, you want the visitor to convert from a visitor to a lead or a sale. Okay, that's an effective website. So I'm actually offering I have a new SEO copywriting service. And so I do SEO competitor research first. So I do, and then keyword research, on-page optimization, editing existing copy. I also do new page copy, social media optimization, because each of the social networks has their own internal search engine. And then e-commerce optimization also, because when you have an e-commerce website, each product description has to be the keyword optimized in there too. Okay. And so Google came up with a couple of, it's been a little over a year now. So the Core Web Vitals algorithm, August of 2021. Yes, a little over a year ago. So they have 3 factors in there. They added a 4th in there too. So this tests how good the experience is on a mobile device. Okay, so first you have what's called the largest contentful paint. So this is how fast a page main content is loaded. Then you've got the first input delay, how fast users are able to interact with the page after landing on it. Then you've got what's called the commutative layout shift. That's text moving up and down because of graphics and widgets or ads. Now, I had this problem just before, like in December of 2020, I redid my website and I had this beautiful large slider on the top of my page with 3 graphics of the 3 types of services that I offered. Problem was, the graphics were different sizes, different heights. So whenever the taller one came down, it pushed down the text that was below it. That's what that is, this cumulative layout shift. Also, there was a plugin for reviews that I had used on a client's website. And the problem with that was the longer reviews, because it was vertical. So the longer the review, it moved the other ones up or down, right? So we had to redo them, do a different type of plugin in there to put in the reviews so that would not happen. Okay. And then the new thing again goes back to the user experience, okay, which we talked about before. So that's the new add-on there. And not just on mobile. So this also, you also get a score for desktop. Okay. But Google notices quality. Okay. So they'll notice spelling, grammar, and styling issues. Does it look like it was just thrown together? Okay. I met a gentleman here in Mesa. He's an architect. And so he was moving his website from Wix to self-hosted WordPress. So he hired somebody that the hosting program, which will remain nameless, suggested. Well, all these people did was literally copy paste and upload the bad website he had on Wix to a bad website on WordPress. Okay. It was just thrown together. There was no rhyme or reason to the website. You know, there was no, it was just terrible. So the people that were doing this were supposedly web designers, you know, web developers, but they know nothing about SEO. They know nothing about SEO keywords and copywriting. They just took the Wix website and plopped it onto a WordPress platform, and it was just a sloppy job. Okay. You could also hire a blogger or SEO firm to create content for you, but you want to make sure that it's unique and not mass produced, because that's been another problem, especially for specific industries like accounting and financial planning. And you know, and I was talking to somebody, okay, so yeah, the excess people that I represent, they send articles all the time. And I go, are they sending these same articles to other people? Well, that's going to hurt your authority on Google, and that hurts. And also, you also get, sometimes you get sloppy against sloppy articles. So they're written, they're mass produced quickly, but they're really sloppy. You know, they're bad. They're just bad content. So you want to ask for a sample article. You want to copy the first paragraph, paste it in the Google search box. How many times does it come up? All right. Then another thing is excessive amount of ads. I've been on sites that I can't tell what's an ad and what's the article. And I won't stay very long on that because I get frustrated. I want to finish reading the article, and you know, when I'm seeing, you know, ads all over the place and popping up all over the place, and they're a distraction. It's a turnoff. But yes, you might want to monetize your website, but again, too many ads is a definite turnoff. Okay, analytics. Okay, very important. So at the end of each month, let's say you had 50 people visit your website. So you want to know, these are sessions. Okay. So every time somebody visits your website, it's a session. So how many visitors? Okay. And if they're new or if they are returning. Okay. And then page views, how many pages they viewed, right? So you want, one person may view 2 or 3 pages, and that's a good thing. Okay. The longer they stay on the website, the better the chances they're going to do something. All right. So, and that's it. How long they spent on your website, where they came from, also very important. So first, when you look at your analytics, your search engines are going to be first, usually, then your social media networks. So if you're posting everything evenly throughout the social networks, you're going to see where the people are coming from. When I first started my business, you know, like 3 months in, I thought Facebook was it, because Facebook is it. Everybody's on Facebook. But no, I was getting more people from LinkedIn. So I'm like, oh, I better go onto my LinkedIn profile and really, you know, make sure it's good, make sure it's working, make sure, you know, and start spending more time on LinkedIn, because That's where the majority of my social media people were coming from. Okay, so so that's important to know. Not that I'm going to stop posting on Facebook, because when you post to social media, you're creating a legitimate backlink. So you still want to post over there, but you're going to spend more time on the social networks where you're getting more people into your website. Then your conversion rate. Okay, so did you convert the visitor into a lead or a sale? Now, the average conversion rate is 2 to 5%. It varies on businesses. It varies with products. So this is just an average conversion rate. So obviously you can have a 10% conversion rate or a 20% conversion rate. Okay. And that would be excellent, but don't expect a 20% conversion rate if you're just starting out. Shoot for that, maybe like 3% or 4 or 5%. You're going to look at the most popular pages. Okay, and this is always interesting. And sometimes on my side, I see the same one every time. The types of Twitter followers. That's always my top page. So I went in there a few months ago and I revamped it. I updated it. I updated the graphics. And I redid it. I made sure my calls to action were there. That's my most popular page. So you want to take your blog, those blog articles or pages, and you want to make sure it looks really good because people are going there. Then did you meet your goals? Okay, so say at the end of the month you had 50 people visit your website. So how many of those converted? So next month's goal should be 100. Maybe you have to blog more or post better calls to action on social media. Increase your efforts, and then at the end of the second month, see if you hit that goal. And your website visits should be steadily increasing as you blog regularly and use social media. One of my clients was a nonprofit, discovered that her Wix website just wasn't working for her. Okay. Through Google Ads for nonprofits, and social media, she was getting over 3,000 visitors to her site per month, yet they weren't joining. So she was losing 3,000 leads a month. So this is where your analytics come in, okay? What's working, what's not working. And the problem was the website. It was too confusing. People had to go and click in several places where something as simple as an educational introductory video in the front page would have cured the problem, would have fixed the problem. Because her nonprofit, she wanted people to sign up to volunteer, but it worked differently. It wasn't your average volunteer thing. Okay, so she had to explain it, but she explained it in like 5 pages. Well, that's not going to work. Okay, people will get frustrated. I'm like, I don't know how this works, and they're going to leave. So if you have, in that case, you needed an explainer video. That's what's called explainer video in the front page, explaining how your thing works. Okay. And so that's that user experience. That's a UX. So that's really, really so important. A bad UX will cost you sales. So now comes the question, do it yourself or hire somebody to do it for you. So if you're going to do it yourself, basically you have a low budget. So you need to figure out how much time it's going to take you to do it. And that's what's called sweat equity. Okay, so if you're a solopreneur like myself, but I just happen to be a graphic designer and doing website design, so I just do all the stuff myself. But even still, sometimes I've got technical problems. I have to consult somebody else, and that's the other consideration: your technical expertise. Okay, so if you decide you want to hire somebody, you need a marketing budget. Okay. You want to get at least 3 quotes from web designers. You must have it planned out, on a whiteboard, on a piece of paper, on a computer program, map it out, because the best web designer and developer cannot read your mind. Okay. And if you don't tell them what you want, they're going to assume they know what you want, which they don't. Okay, so you want to be careful with this. Okay, you want to know how many pages you need. Okay, if you don't need certain pages, then you don't need it. Okay, get referrals. All right, so have them, definitely look at their website. Okay, read their blog. Does it look like they know what they're talking about, what they're doing? Then you have to decide if you need a designer or a developer. Okay, it all depends on how extensive, how complicated your site needs to be. Usually when you're e-commerce and you're doing it yourself, you're in a self-hosted WordPress, then it would be good to have somebody who's a developer in there, because you're going to have some technical things that are really important, like checking out, and it's a security thing. So, can people find the products? Does the search engine work? If there is a problem, okay, is this a secure checkout? Okay, so that's really important, because for an e-commerce site, the potential customer needs to feel secure buying something from that website. And so a designer is just that, a designer. So their graphics is going to look beautiful. I remember this realtor that contacted me. They were trying to sell a condo right in downtown Phoenix in the Arts District. And the brochure was done by the owner's niece, daughter, something or other. And it was gorgeous. I mean, it was a gorgeous website, but it had no call to action and it had no blog. What that site needed was, what is it like to live in the downtown Phoenix Art District? Okay, you can walk to the art museum, you can walk to the opera, you can go to this restaurant and that restaurant, and there's this festival and that festival, and and First Friday art, and because you're selling the neighborhood, you're selling the experience rather than just the condo, and they weren't getting any sales, they weren't getting any visits. Well, eventually that realtor just decided to go elsewhere, to just quit that particular project. So, but that was one of the things. So if the designer is not a good SEO copywriter, sometimes you have great graphics but no text. Okay, so what happens is there's no text for Google to see, so people aren't going to find it. Okay, so if somebody's looking for a condo in the Phoenix Art District, they had bad SEO, so they weren't coming up. So see, there's a lot of stuff pulled together so that the website will work correctly and effectively. If you're, I recommend keeping it local. So it's in the United States, and sometimes it's cheaper to hire somebody from outside of the US, but the problem is, and I've had this happen with several people, if something happens, you have no recourse. Okay, so we have what's called the Better Business Bureau here, but they have to have a US address. And we were lucky with a client who was also a good friend of mine, couldn't get his WordPress website finished, and that's all he wanted. He wanted them to finish the website. There was still stuff, and so it was a company from out of the country, but they had an address in New Jersey, in one of the states. So we were able to contact the Better Business Bureau, and we got it resolved. And then the more complicated your website is, the more expensive it will be. That's again where the developer comes in. That's your more techie person. So basically, do you want an interior decorator rewiring your house? So again, that's what happens when you just have a designer build your website. Okay, so just as if you get several quotes for getting your house rewired, you need several quotes, as well as interviewing several website builders. So if your website is just an online brochure with an easy call to action, then you're okay with just a designer. But if you have, again, e-commerce, a membership site, even a payment gateway, you need a developer in there. And keep in mind too, the developers are computer people, and nothing against computer people, but they're usually not marketing people. So, so if you don't tell them how to create the best user experience, usually they don't know. Many just create online brochures that just don't cut it anymore. Okay, and they're not copywriters. Okay, so if people are going to your website and they're not converting, you might want to look at your copy, and they expect you to give them the text that's to go on the page. So lay it out clearly so there's no doubt. Okay, don't leave something up to them. All right. They'll say, whatever you think. No, 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 no. Give them examples of websites that you like, and tell them I like this website. Okay. So you might find out who did that website, and that could be one of the people you contact. Or you could send that website to another web developer or I call my web guy, and saying, can you replicate this site or something like this? I like this site. And then give them your information for your business. Okay, so once your site is built, you got maintenance to think about. So just like stuff breaks at home, stuff breaks online. And there's a lot of entities involved, even in the most simplest of websites. So the hosting service, the platform, the hackers trying to get in, compatibility of WordPress, the platform with the themes and plugins. So each theme and plugin has its own developers who have to keep up with the WordPress updates, because they're constantly doing security updates and feature updates and bug fixes and so forth. So if you don't want to have to worry about all this techie stuff, you want to hire somebody, hire a maintenance service. What the maintenance guy is going to find out. So you have a problem. Okay, your website is down, or something's not coming up, something's not working. Okay, so they're going to find where's the problem. Okay. Who is responsible? Is it the hosting platform? Is it something in the back end? Is it a plugin? Is it the theme? And then who's going to fix it? Okay, so I recommend, if you're on WordPress and you're in your US, On-Site WP, that's my web guy. Okay, and for backups and security, I don't have to worry about them. They do all the updates. If my site is down, or I've got the stupid error in here, what's causing it? Okay, and sometimes I've been getting the same error for like 6 months over and over again, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, what's causing this? Do I need it? Okay, because this is getting frustrating. All right, and so then we discovered it's a plugin that I really don't need anymore, so we deleted it and we fixed the problem. So you want to weigh your options. You might want to outsource your web design, development, and or content creation if you have the budget. So research your options. Make sure you get someone who will create content that will enhance your company's brand image. How much is your time worth? How big is the learning curve for you to master this? Okay. How it all works together, it's a 4-part strategy. So you need to have the content, that's blog, videos, podcasts, gallery, providing the fresh content that Google is looking for. You want to become a content magnet. People are not going to follow you if you're not putting out content regularly. So how do you do that? You promote your content on social media. Okay. And again, every time you share a blog article or even your web pages over to social media, it creates a legitimate backlink, which helps. Okay. And so that helps drive people over to the website. Okay. So the website needs to be set up to capture those leads or convert a visitor into a lead or a sale. And then if they're not ready to buy right away, you want to get them into some sort of email automation system to nurture them into a sale. And you can't do one and not do the other 3 and expect good results. Okay. So here's some important things to remember. Focus on people first. Okay. And polish your message and make sure it's the right message to the right target audience. Do your research. Use the data that's available. Video should be a big part of your marketing strategy. In fact, I'm doing a YouTube thing on YouTube in December. December 8th and that one's not up yet, but if you're going to be added to my email list. So I have that one coming up. That's a brand new, I have never done it before, video, webinar on video. But the video is hot right now. All the platforms have it. And people will rather watch a video than read a page of text. Be ready. So be ready and be ready for change. Okay. This stuff is constantly changing. I just did an article recently on Facebook making some major algorithm changes. I'll get into that one in my social media 101 next week. So So you just got to keep in mind that stuff changes and you just have to evolve with it. You have to just deal with it. And be prepared to work, sweat equity, or hire an expert. That's it. So here's a review of the steps. So define your target market personas. Do your research. Okay, where are they online? Do your keyword research. What are they going to enter into the search box to find you? What are their buying habits? Which networks are they on? Then set those SMART goals. Okay, and then your strategic plan is how are you going to reach those goals, and your tactical plan is how you're going to implement the strategy. Your branding, logo, and your color scheme. Okay, make it easy on the eyes, make it pleasant as part of your online image. Website hosting and structure. Okay, DIY or hire someone. Okay, you got to make that decision. The content. Okay, what type of content you're going to do it? How often are you going to blog? Are you going to write? Are you going to do podcasts? Are you going to? And I did a content marketing webinar a few weeks ago too, so that's also available on my YouTube channel, on my website. So I'll have those links in the email that I'm going to send you. Your calls to action. What is it? What are you offering the people? And it have to be enticing, and where are you going to put them? And then of course your analytics. Okay. And then the big question is, do you have the right website? So WordPress is the most popular website content management system. They have over 64% of the content management system CMS market. It's very user-friendly. I can teach you not only how to manage your WordPress website as well as blog effectively on the platform, but I can also guide you to build your own WordPress website in a few days. Okay, this is a new service specifically for small business owners who find the cost of hiring a professional designer or developer out of reach. And this is for a simple website. Again, if you want e-commerce, I have to pass you on to my web guy, or start on Shopify. But this will benefit you if you're on Wix, Weebly, or GoDaddy Site Builder, or any other site builders, and you're not getting the traffic to your website, then a self-hosted WordPress website is your answer. If you're on one of the free websites and you've outgrown it, okay, this is for you. If your website was built before July of 2019, you have an old website and you've not kept up with the Google Core Web Vitals updates. You want to be found when potential clients are searching for what you have to offer. Contact me. There's going to be a link to my website and in the email to schedule a free 15-minute phone consultation so we can go over what you currently have, what you're planning if you're a startup, and which are the best options for you. And then if you plan on doing it all yourself, I have my ebook. It's available on Amazon Kindle or the Kindle app. You don't have to have the Kindle device. You can read it on the Kindle app. It's a step-by-step guide that's easy to follow. It's everything you need from goal setting to hashtags, which networks to focus on, how to beat the competition. It's everything that I know in a book. How to drive traffic to your websites, type of content to create, strategies for each network, create your own customized strategic and tactical plans, and what you need to take your digital marketing to the next level. And the link will be in the PDF. It's also on the email. So basically, don't be overwhelmed. Planning your digital marketing doesn't have to be overwhelming if you take everything step by step. So if you're not sure what to do, I can help guide you with a free 15-minute phone consultation. I'll look at your current marketing efforts, your website, and any social media. Even if you're just starting out and don't have anything up yet, we can do a little brainstorming session. And I also have lots of free resources on my website, and you can check out my other services. I also have a slide at the end with a lot of other resources and other videos and other articles in there. Oh,
thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please like it and subscribe to her channel. Then click on over to the AZ Social Media Wiz website to download the free Define Your Target Market workbook or schedule a free 15-minute phone consultation and review of your marketing efforts.